Alright, it is finally time to do my final update for Pan That Palette 2015. I'm incredibly excited. This has been a long time coming. It's been 12 months worth of using one palette specifically. Now, when I started in the beginning of January from 2015, I had actually included both the original Lorac Pro and the 2 in it as well, because I thought, hey, Amber F could go through the Urban Decay Naked palette in an entire year, and the Lorac Pro here has half of the amount of product, roughly, so, you know, I can do 2 palettes in a year. That was not the case. I was quite surprised how long it took to use up this entire palette. Let me give you a sneak peek of where I am on the Lorac Pro 2 since the last update. If I still have that footage, I'll insert it right here. And here on Rosé, I hit pan. So I'm definitely not planning to pan this palette before the end of the year. I'm not looking to finish off any of the other shadows in here, but I just thought I would mention that Rosé shade right there. And this is what the Lorac Pro 2 palette looks like for my final update. You can see I have a little bit more pan in this rosé shade. I've used quite a bit. I do tend to layer this one with like a champagne or a white just to lighten it up a little bit. Let me give you a swatch of that because it's a bit like a rose gold kind of shade, I would say. So that is Rosé right there on the back of my hand. I mean, it's a pretty shade. I just don't tend to gravitate towards colors like this on my eyes. It's gorgeous nonetheless. I've had a fun time layering that shadow. My initial goal with this palette was to finish up as many as I could, and I think even in my items I wanted to finish off before the end of 2015, I wanted to finish off at least 3 shades out of here, and obviously that didn't happen. But I'm satisfied with my progress on this. I really wasn't focusing on it for 95% of the year, so there's that one. And then the palette that I'm sure you guys are most waiting for, the original Lorac Pro palette. Let me insert last month's progress update right here. And this is what my palette looks like after 11 months of using it. And there is my final update. I'm really excited about this. I was able to finish everything off, so you can check out those beautiful pans right there. At the last update, I had a little bit left in, let's see, the bottom right of Sable, right down here. Not very much at all, actually. Espresso had probably from right where that little mark is in the pan, from right there and down, filled with product. So there was a decent amount because it was such a dark shade, but it was so powdery when I'd put my brush in there. It just puffed up and it was used up pretty quickly. And then slate down here, I had some left in the upper right hand portion of the pan, and I was able to use that one up for the most part on the lid. Now, one thing I did notice with this palette when I was using it, I have crazy OCD with palettes like this. When I use them and there's a lot of kick up, I have to wipe off the palette every single time that I use it. You've probably noticed about, I don't know, half of my palette, the names of the shades are rubbed off. That's just because I'm wiping the palette either with my hand or a damp rag every single time that I use it. So I tried not to do that as much towards the end of the project just because I wanted to remember some of the names so I wasn't completely caught off guard with the final update. Some of my absolute favorite shades out of this palette were Champagne, Nude, I really enjoyed Mauve right here. And then probably my absolute favorite shade out of this palette was Garnet. I know somebody told me that there was a MAC eyeshadow dupe for Garnet, and if you know what that is, please link that down in the comment section down there below. I would really enjoy having a single of that, much more than purchasing this whole palette over again just for that one shade. But I know a lot of people didn't really like Champagne, but I absolutely love that one for putting it up underneath my bottom lash line. Something about it, even with the little glittery flecks in it, I absolutely loved it. There was Gold, which I thoroughly despised. When I started, I picked out shades that I didn't really enjoy for the most part. I picked out Gold, Deep Purple, those ones specifically. I wanted to get them moved out of the way as quickly as possible just because I didn't want to be stuck with those at the very end, which I'm extremely grateful for, because if those were the last two that were hanging on at the end of this project, they'd still be in this pan because I would have been over trying to figure out a way to use them up. So this is finished. I'm really happy. I'm going to set this aside. I do have all of my makeup and perfume that I finished off for 2015. I'm going to put them all together, including this one, and make one big video, maybe tomorrow or the next day or something, and then you can see everything collectively. There was a couple key points or observations, I guess, that I noticed while I was panning through this palette. The first one is that you're probably, no matter what palette you pick, you're probably going to get sick of the shades in the palette, whether there's 4 shadows in it or whether there's 20. You're probably at one point or another going to get sick of the shades that you have in your palette. It's just something that's going to happen. I do suggest when that happens, try to do something that's completely out of your comfort zone, and who knows, you might actually really enjoy what comes out of that. I touched on this just a second ago, but use up colors that you do not enjoy first. If you're planning to use every single shade out of the palette, use those ones that you're going to have an issue with later on. Try and use those up first. Layering is really key with that. I think that was the main reason why I got through Gold. If I had to use Gold all on its own without layering something, it'd still be sitting in that pan. Another suggestion I would make, if you're kind of in a rut with your eye look and the shadows that are left in your palette, check onto YouTube and see if there's any tutorials or get ready with me videos that you could kind of pull ideas from or looks from, because I will link the video down below if I can find it. But the only reason why I was able to finish off that last bottom portion of Espresso was because of Miu Miu G. I'll link her channel down there in the description box as well as the video if I can find it, but she does this really cool eye look. She calls it a French smoky eye, and you have a really dark shadow towards your lashes, and then it just has a gradient effect and gets lighter towards, you know, the further away from your lashes that you get. And typically I think she does that with a black, but I use that for Espresso and it turned out beautiful in my opinion. And then the last suggestion I'll give you guys, if you are planning to do a Pan That palette for 2016, 2017, whatever you're doing, do not procrastinate on using your shadows. It's really easy to push it off and think, I don't have to use it today because I have a whole year to use it. That's not good thinking and not good planning, because I was under the impression that this little puppy right here was going to take me maybe 6 months tops to use this up, and it actually ended up taking me right up to the 28th of December to finish off the last of the shadows. So just a little heads up, maybe a few pointers. If you guys have any other pointers for panning a palette and being really successful with it, let me know. Leave those down in the comment section below, especially if you're planning to do this for 2016. I'm hoping I can get my intro video for 2016 up within the next few days, but anyway, I know I'm a little bit behind at the moment. I'm trying to get everything caught up and uploaded in order in case somebody wanted to go back and follow my progress from 2015. Everything would be in order. So anyway, that is it for my final update. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.